Hi everyone, it's Benza here. As I mentioned in 2 of my previous videos, I have joined the Game Jam series in which I must make a game for each month of 2024. This is my 3rd video related to this Game Jam series, so I figured I should create a playlist for them, and I also included the name of the jam in related videos. If everything goes well, I will have 12 videos in this playlist by the end of the year, so subscribe if you are interested. There are 3 main themes for each month and a modifier theme. For March, these were Mass, can be interpreted as weight or as crowd, Rube Goldberg machine, and freedom. And the modifier theme was split screen. So I guess this time I will need 2 explanations. Firstly, a Rube Goldberg machine is a machine that completes a simple task in an overcomplicated way. This usually includes a lot of steps that come in a series after each other, and while it is not practical at all, it can produce great spectacle. You can see many machines like that on the Joseph's Machine YouTube channel. As usual, links are in the description for both the Wikipedia article about the Rube Goldberg machine and for the Joseph's Machine YouTube channel. Secondly, by looking at the themes for January and February, you might have noticed that at least one of the 3 main themes is connected to the given month. In January it was Mickey Mouse because the original cartoon character has entered the public domain, and in February it was Valentine's Day and Farsang, which is basically the name of the carnival season in Hungary. For March, the connecting theme was freedom because on the 15th of March in 1848 there was a revolution in Hungary which aimed to increase personal freedoms and establish parliamentary elections for Hungary, which at that time was under Habsburg rule. Although the revolution was crushed in 1949, it was a very important step in the establishment of the modern Hungarian identity, thus the 15th of March became a national holiday here in Hungary. If you want to know more about this event, I put the Wikipedia link down in the description. So, what game should I make? All I knew was that I wanted to make the game in Unreal Engine and that I wanted to use as much C++ as I could. Back in my early game development days, I started to work on a game about an astronaut in space where a gravitational field of different astronomical objects would have had a role, but I did not want to work on something similar for now. And I had no game idea in connection with a crowd, so the Mass theme was out. Rube Goldberg machine sounded much more interesting. The game idea that first came to my mind was a kind of reverse Factorio, where your goal is not to streamline more and more complex processes, but to overcomplicate an easy task. I think we can all agree that this idea is great. However, even the best idea is worthless if it is not implemented, and the implementation could also fail. And because I am generally not interested in Factorio-like games, my execution would probably have been disastrous. Only the freedom theme remained. If you have any game mechanic idea for it, let me know in the comments, because I did not have any. So I did what everyone in a situation like this does. I cheated. Sort of. Game jams are first and foremost about making games, but doing it creatively is a close second, at least from my point of view. You can also add learning, meeting new people, being part of a community, and so on. Whenever I join the game jam, I try to fulfill the jam's theme by creating a game mechanic around it. For example, the theme for my very first game jam was Inconvenient Superpower. In my game, the player's superpower was that they could make obstacles disappear. However, the side effect was that anytime this ability was used, random parts of the map would disappear as well, potentially hindering the player in the future. Or, in one of my very recent games, The Great Escape, I chose the theme Winter, and besides aesthetics, I added a constant cold damage to the player. For me, coming up with new game mechanics is hard, and by specifically choosing to create a game mechanic around the theme of the jam, I forced myself to be a bit more creative. Back in 2020, I made a game for a game jam where the theme was Leave Me Alone. In hindsight, I can come up with a few game mechanics that could fulfill this theme, but at that time, nothing came to my mind. It happens. So I made a puzzle game that mechanically had nothing to do with the theme, and instead I made a story that focused on this theme, and I also titled the game Leave Me Alone just for good measures. So this was the recipe I plan to follow this time as well. Fulfill the theme requirement with the help of the plot rather than gameplay, and as far as I can tell, it is completely viable. However, for me, coming up with stories is not as hard as coming up with the game mechanics, so from this perspective I have chosen the easier option. After last month's simple UI game, I wanted to make something that looks really beautiful, and with Unreal Engine this is relatively easy. I wanted to make something similar to my Leave Me Alone game, both in terms of gameplay and style. In terms of the latter, I have achieved what I wanted, at least I was satisfied with it, but the gameplay was heavily lacking. Learning C++ took away a lot of my already limited free time, and at the end, even with blueprint usage, the game became very short and basic. I have implemented a few extra fluff, such as visual effects, voice lines, a main menu, and a a twist for the end of the game, but as we, gamers, know, the fluff does not worth much if the gameplay sucks. So no wonder that this was one of the feedbacks I got. People liked the atmosphere of the game, liked the idea, but disliked that the game time was very short. They also praised the graphics, but noted that on weaker systems the game was a bit laggy. Freedom will not be my most highly regarded gem game, that is for sure. However, it was still a valuable lesson because of the C++ I have learned along the way. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you found it interesting. If you did, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you in the next one, bye!